Real quick before the video starts, I have a new channel based around green tech stories on 4chan, and I'll be uploading videos daily over there. If you're interested, I'll leave a link to the channel in the description. Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael, and we're going to be getting right back into some more Reddit stories. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's begin. This story was posted by a user named TripSmart in the legal advice subreddit. The post is titled, "Bought a new house and neighbor blocks our driveway." Okay, so this is pretty straightforward, but I am not really sure where to go or what to do. I just bought a new house. How exciting. Our realtor told us to expect some surprises. Here is our first and major surprise. Our neighbor likes to park and block our driveway. He seems to be an avid car collector and has quite a few cars. We did not really notice it because I guess he parks his daily driver in front of our driveway. So when we were touring the house and whatnot, he was away at work. We have noticed the issue when we need to leave our driveway for work and his car is blocking us in. We have knocked on the door and had a few discussions with him about how that is not acceptable, and he has produced a handwritten contract that he had with the previous owner stating that it was okay for him to block our driveway. He let me read the contract, and it does state that he can block our driveway from the hours of 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. every day of the week. The previous owner was an elderly woman who did not drive, so I can imagine it was not an inconvenience to her. He has threatened us with legal action and told us that because he has a contract, he can legally park there. I do not think that is true. Also, I am aware that we have to live next to this man for the next handful of years, and I want to approach this situation delicately without necessarily getting the courts involved, but I would just like to know what my rights are. I think because the contract was with the former tenant, it is null and void. Any idea how to make peace with our new neighbor and still have the ability to pull in and out of our driveway? I am kind of at my wit's end, so any advice is greatly appreciated. To summarize, bought a new house, new neighbor blocks our driveway, was given permission by previous owner, has contract. What can I do? Update. Thank you everyone for your helpful advice. I was not expecting so many responses. I see a lot of people mentioning why we did not do something sooner. When I say we just moved in, we really just moved in this past Monday. We have not even been at the new house for a week. I would not say I am a pushover just with buying a new house and planning a move. This was not on my bingo card. But it turns out he did good on his promise and talked to a lawyer who told him it was illegal to block a driveway regardless of any contract, and that the contract in question is null and void since the previous owner moved away. Regardless, blocking someone else's driveway is still illegal. He came over and apologized. He also brought some store-bought cookies, an apology letter, and the contract with the former owner for us to keep or destroy. I think this is a nice olive branch for the situation. He wants to start over again and welcome us into the neighborhood. I'm hoping we can turn the corner and start anew with our new neighbor. He seemed pretty embarrassed and genuinely seemed sorry. He is an older guy, so maybe he just did not know the laws or is not good with change. He definitely has egg on his face. Hopefully, we can just enjoy being each other's neighbors in the meantime. And maybe one day this will just be a funny story. Anyway, definitely an interesting way to be greeted into the neighborhood. JS7 said, "How stupid do you have to be to think a contract with one house owner means you have a contract with a completely different owner? Would he be okay with it if the OP got a contract with a previous owner of one of his cars that said he was allowed to drive it around whenever he wanted?" Impossible Hunt said no. He would have kept blocking their driveway if he could, with no regard for their safety or convenience, so this nice act is nonsense. And what was that cheeky expect some surprises? It is the realtor's job to make sure there are no surprises. This next story was made in the AITA subreddit by a user named Otherwise Time. The post is titled, "I divorced my wife for being a stay-at-home mom. I'm a 30-year-old man and married my wife, who is also 30, about 5 years ago. We had been dating since high school. I loved how smart, ambitious, and driven she was. We bonded over academics and nerdy interests. We had both landed good jobs in the same city right after college. 3 years into the marriage, we had our baby. We decided to send our child to daycare after 6 months. but when the 6 months were up, she refused to go back to work and send our child to daycare. Her argument was that if I picked up more work, we could afford a single income household, and she would be saving us money by being a stay-at-home parent. She also believed this arrangement was better for our child. I refused. Daycare is normal. If I were the only one working, I would have to work many more hours, be exhausted, and not spend as much time with our child. I told her that if she was scared about daycare, we could work different shifts to stay home with our baby, like tag team parenting. She refused, saying that did not work for her, and as the mother, she needed to be with her baby all the time. This caused a huge fight between us. She quit her job. She took care of the baby during my work hours and wanted me to take care of cooking dinner on weekdays and cooking, cleaning, and baby care on weekends because stay-at-home moms deserve breaks too. This dynamic really made me resent her. I tried communicating many times. The load of bills and insane work hours, along with not being able to enjoy time with my baby, upset me deeply. When I was sure she was not going to listen to me, I filed for divorce. The court gave 50-50 custody, no alimony or child support, since I proved it was her own decision to stay home, something I never agreed upon, and her career break lasted only about a year. I moved back in with my parents, and they have room for our baby too. Meanwhile, my ex-wife is struggling, living paycheck to paycheck. My baby stays with my mom when I work. My mom offered my ex the same arrangement, but she was so mad at me that she refused and enrolled our baby in daycare. I refused to pay for it since she can just leave our child with my mom. My ex-wife and her friends are calling me an a-hole for divorcing her over being a stay-at-home mom and not providing any support. Update. The comment section truly shows how sexist the community is, with most "you are the asshole" comments calling me broke and telling me to man up. Others say that the mother deserves to be with her baby and that I am an asshole for taking that away from them. My marriage was based on equality. I never wanted to be the sole breadwinner. To everyone telling me that the mother staying home is best and the right thing to do if you can afford it, I was clearly saying we could not. Daycare expenses would have been 30% of my wife's salary and 15% of our joint income. I was not even demanding daycare. I offered my mother's help, part-time, different shifts, anything that would enable me to have quality time with my child too. She refused that, turning me into an ATM and domestic help. To everyone saying I should have given her more time, each phase of childhood only lasts for a little while. I missed over a year of my child's life. Big moments, smiles, and phases due to this arrangement. My wife did not care or sympathize. It was my duty to provide for her and her right to stay home with our child. Further, I was responsible for fending for myself, for food, washing dishes, cooking dinner, and cleanup every day. On my only day off, the only day I could possibly spend with my child, I had to clean the house, cook all meals, meal prep for the week, do laundry, mow the lawn, and so on. I only got time with the baby for about 6 hours, maybe 12 hours at most per week. I was working over 80 hours a week at the office and another 28 hours doing housework. What she did was take care of our baby. I am not criticizing her for that. I just wanted time with our child too. When I realized she would not listen to me at all and I did not want to miss years of my child's life, I filed for divorce. To everyone saying I am taking advantage of my mother, I do not know how your family is, but my parents love my child. I am my parents' only child, and my kid is their only grandchild. To those who say I am hurting my child by bringing in unknown caretakers, my child is having a great time being pampered by my mom and loves the time spent with me. To people asking what I won, time with my child, memories with my child, and a relationship with my child rather than being an ATM. And to people who say I never loved my wife, I did, until I realized that she did not love or care about me. She only cared about what she needed and wanted and treated me like an ATM and a slave. It was heartbreaking to realize, but it was not a relationship I wanted to continue. She took away my time with my child, and that is not something I can forgive easily. I would rather be a present father with my child. Potential OK said, I do not understand people like the OP's wife. There are literally so many men out there screaming that all women need to be traditional wives, and she decided it was better to marry a man who wanted an equal partner and to spend time with his child. What was she thinking? To this, Funter said, the problem for her is that the charming lot who want traditional wives are not going to be cooking or doing laundry. She would be in for a real surprise. This final post was made in the same subreddit by a user named BeRealSun. The post is titled, I refuse to let my brother-in-law borrow my grandfather's watch for his wedding. I am a 30-year-old man engaged to Sarah, who is 29, and our wedding is in 10 months. I have my grandfather's vintage watch, which he wore on his own wedding day. It is a family tradition that the firstborn son wears it on his wedding day for good luck. Since my dad passed away when I was young, the watch came to me, and I have always planned to wear it when I get married. My future brother-in-law Ben, who is 28, and Sarah's younger brother, is getting married in 4 months. He knows about the watch and its significance. Recently, he asked if he could borrow it for his wedding, arguing that since his wedding is first, he should be the one to have the good luck. I told him no because I want to honor the family tradition and wear it myself. Ben was upset and told Sarah that I am being selfish. Sarah is caught in the middle. She understands my attachment to the watch, but also feels for her brother. Now, her parents are saying I should let Ben wear it first, as it is just a watch and traditions can be flexible. I really value this tradition and the memory of my grandfather. Am I being unreasonable by refusing to let Ben borrow the watch? Update. Hey everyone, thanks for the comments on my post. They really got me thinking. I talked to Sarah last night after work about Ben wanting my grandfather's watch, and it turned into a massive fight. We figured things out eventually, but it was a rough one. Here is what happened. I started by telling Sarah there is no way Ben is getting the watch. It is my grandfather's, worn on his wedding day, and the tradition is that the firstborn son wears it for good luck. Since my dad passed away when I was young, it is mine, and I have always planned to wear it at our wedding in 10 months. I hit her with what some of you suggested. If it is just a watch to Ben, why is he so desperate to wear it for his wedding in 4 months? She got heated, saying Ben is freaking out about his wedding and thinks the good luck will make it perfect. I called that straight up entitled, Ben has no claim to my family's heirloom and I am not handing it over. Then I went in on her for not having my back, like a lot of you pointed out. I said she is only caught in the middle because she will not tell Ben and her parents to back off. Sarah lost it, shouting that I am forcing her to pick sides, and her parents are blowing up her phone, saying I am being a jerk for clinging to a relic. That set me off. I yelled that it is not a relic, it is all I have left of my dad and grandfather, and if she cannot see that, maybe she does not care about me. She snapped back that I am fixated on a stupid tradition and making her family feel like garbage. I told her if we are getting married, she needs to act like my fiance, not Ben's defender. It got nastier. I said I will lock the watch in a safe because I do not trust her family not to misplace it, and she flipped, screaming that I am calling them thieves. I shouted that I would not have to if she had just shut this down from the start. She started crying, saying I am making her feel like a horrible fiance, and I was not calm. I snapped that she is letting me down by siding with Ben. She grabbed her bag, said she is done with me for now, and stormed out to her friend's place. I was furious, thinking this might be more than just the watch. Late last night, Sarah called, still upset but calmer. She said she does not want this to ruin us. I admitted I got too worked up, but I stood by needing her support. She broke down, saying she gets how much the watch means and feels awful for calling it a relic. She promised to tell Ben and her parents it is a hard no, and we will face them together this weekend. She is coming home today, and we agreed to work on talking without blowing up, especially with her family causing trouble. To keep things cool, we are considering getting Ben a nice watch as a wedding gift, so he has something without touching mine. Update 2. I planned to get my brother-in-law a wedding gift for his wedding in a few months, was thinking either the JLC Reverso or the Cartier Tank. What will you guys think? I never really wear dress watches, so don't know much about the wearing experience of either. Or do you suggest something else? Update 3. Thanks for the support on my posts about the watch situation. People seem to want an update, so here's what went down this weekend when Sarah and I talked to Ben and her parents. On Sunday, we sat down at her parents' place for brunch. Ben brought up the watch, saying it would be a classy touch for his big day. I had been thinking a lot about why he wants it. He is well off and has a killer watch collection, all flashy modern stuff, not vintage like my grandfather's. It does not fit him, so I am guessing it is his way of flexing control, like he has to one-up me before his wedding. I stood my ground. It is my family's tradition, tied to my dad and grandfather, both gone. It is all I have left of them, and it is for my wedding. Sarah did not hesitate and backed me, saying that if Ben kept pushing, we would draw a line. Things got heated. Ben got defensive, saying I was making a fuss over just a watch and ignoring family harmony. He rolled his eyes when I mentioned my dad, which pissed me off. His fiancée finally left brunch. I think she was fed up with Ben. That seemed to knock some sense into him. He stepped out, they talked, and both came back and apologized. Long story short, we are doing a golf trip in 2 weeks to hash things out. I might be naive, but I am optimistic. Sarah's parents did not say much, but her mom mentioned helping with our wedding in 10 months, like I owed them something. That hit wrong, especially since we are signing a prenuptial agreement to protect their family's assets. I am no slouch though. I have made something of myself. Sarah was there through my darkest days, addiction, hitting rock bottom, falling apart. Her parents thought she could do better and kept pushing their familial piety thing, which probably made her feel stuck in the middle early on. Some of you said I should dump Sarah, but that is not right. We have been together for years, and she has been my rock through that mess. I have screw-ups she has let slide, addictions, and some darker stuff, so I am not going to judge her over one rough patch. We are starting counseling soon, something we both want to keep us solid. We decided not to get Ben a watch. Many of you pointed out that a wedding gift should be for both the bride and groom, and I was not thinking straight before. We are leaning toward a honeymoon contribution instead. I am starting to see things more clearly. Thank you everyone for the suggestions and support. I know I am going against the main suggestion to dump Sarah, but that is not an option at this point. Not without me giving it my all, because I know she is willing to do the same. Update 4, my fiance, who is 26, and I, who am 28, are getting married in a few months, but lately I have been feeling uneasy about her habit of lending money to her family without discussing it with me first. Last year, she lent her brother $500 from my account without asking, and recently she used my credit card to pay $1,500 for her parents' car repair. Each time, she apologizes and promises to pay me back, but I feel like this is a breach of trust. We have always agreed to discuss major financial decisions together, especially since we are about to get married. However, she seems to think that since we are family now, helping each other financially is normal, even without prior discussion. I understand that family is important, but I believe in transparency and mutual agreement when it comes to money, especially large sums. How can I approach this conversation with her without making her feel like I am attacking her family? I want us to be on the same page financially before we tie the knot. Similar Shame said, and there it is, the other shoe. To this user, Aria cannot sing. Said, his fiance reminds me of another OP whose girlfriend was using thousands of OP's money to support her sister. Fuck that. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video, and thank you also to partner of the channel, GamerSupps. Use code DLAM to support the channel and get 10% off of your purchase, link in the description. I'm sure many of you like me have a hankering for daily caffeine, so go check them out. Lately, I've been a big fan of Titty Milk and Acid Rain, but they've got dozens of other flavors for y'all to try out. Anyway, thanks again for reaching the end, and I hope you all have an amazing passage of the next 24 hours.